Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My respected brothers and sisters in Islam. This is the part 7 of Islamic law perspective about cryptocurrency by Professor Alaro, and this is the last part of it. Try to watch it on an end. And having done that, don't forget to subscribe, comment.
The issue of mining did not take much of our time. Let's move to the last one. Sharia issue in cryptos as means of payment. The next one, Mr. Moderator. Yes, as means of payment. This is also a very simple one. Like I told you, I'm not trading, you are not buying, you are not selling cryptos, but your university, an institution that you want to buy something, a company from, says, I will only collect crypto. I will only collect Bitcoin. I don't want any other currency. Can you go ahead and do? Yes, but you have to follow the rule. The rule of payment in Sharia when you are paying for something, just a mere payment. One, the two rules are combined in a particular hadith. Let me just narrate that hadith. Let me read the hadith from you. That the Prophet ﷺ said, the translation of which is this, that every single human being will be asked 4 questions on the day of resurrection. Every single human being. And one of those, or 1 or 2 of those questions will be about his money. About his money. He will be asked 2 questions regarding your money. Where did you get the money from? And what did you spend the money for? These are the 2 rules that will govern our activities in relation to using cryptocurrencies, and in fact, any other currency for that matter, as means of payment. We will look into how you procure your cryptocurrency. You hack into anonymous computer and you are able to steal from his wallet, e-wallet, if that is possible. Although in blockchain technology, like I said, it's difficult. It's almost impossible. But let us assume it is possible for people. They can hack into wallets if they cannot hack into the main protocol, the main blockchain technology. But you have your own wallet in where you store your own holdings of cryptos in. Some people may be able to hack into that and steal a lot of money from you. So that is the first rule. If you want to use crypto to buy something, it must not be from a haram source. You cannot hack into another man's wallet and steal, then use that one to buy and think that that's what you are doing is permitted. It's not. So that is the first rule. Allah will ask you, where did you get your money? Then the second rule, the second question is, what did you use the money for? That applies to using cryptos as means of exchange as well. When a casino or anything that is halal, a casino industry, a betting company says, if you want to bet, if you want to do this, you have to pay in crypto. And you go on to pay using crypto. That is a haram activity. Regardless of whether what we said about crypto, whether it is halal or haram, regardless of all that, if you have used your crypto to purchase what is illegal, what is not permissible in Sharia, then the whole exercise becomes illegal, becomes haram from the Sharia perspective. So these are the 2 major rules that must actually govern the issue of using crypto as means of payment. And of course, we must add this, any cryptocurrency that you are using to purchase must enjoy wide acceptance for what, as we said earlier on. It cannot be something that will only be acceptable to a number of you, that when you want to take advantage of his money later, they will say we don't accept it. If a currency does not enjoy wide acceptance, then it cannot be used for even as a means of payment. Now to the conclusion. Alhamdulillah. Conclusion and recommendations. Let's go there, the next slide. Conclusion and recommendations. 1, the original or default rule in commercial transactions in Sharia is that of permissibility. Al-aslu fil ashiya al-ibaha. And this must be at the back of our mind. Any new thing, our approach to it, whether it is currency or not currency, any new thing In Sharia, the default rule is that this is permitted. That is the original rule. Cryptocurrency falls in that category of a new invention that we were not used to before. So originally, we must see it as something that is permissible. That's what Sharia says. That's the beauty of Sharia when it comes to commercial transactions. It's different from the rules guiding the rules of ibadah, worshiping Almighty Allah. It's the opposite. You don't do until you have a proof that you must do. That is in worshiping, in the act of ibadah. But in contract, in commercial transactions, the opposite is the case. It is originally halal until when you do something that makes it haram. I want that one to be noted. Our approach to issues in Sharia, in commercial law in Sharia, is that original or default rule is that of permissibility. But that permissibility may be removed, may be taken away if you perpetrate something that will now render the activity or the contract as becoming illegal or invalid. Number two, most of the concerns raised about cryptos do not affect the technology itself. That's my conclusion. And based on what I've enumerated, what I've explained in the course of this lecture, you will see clearly that most of the concerns being raised, they are not targeted at the concept, neither are they targeted at the technology, neither are they targeted at the protocols producing Bitcoins or other cryptocurrencies. But essentially, those concerns revolve around how and what cryptos are used, how and for what cryptos are used. And this is the pivotal issue that must actually guide our utterances, our pronouncement, whether it is halal or haram. We cannot close our eyes to the fact that cryptos are being used for illegal activities and say, no, it's a currency, it must be allowed. That is not Sharia. At the same time, we must not say that because 1, 2, 3 people are using it for illegal activities, then it becomes illegal for those who want to use it for legal activities. Sharia does not operate that way. So we have to bear at the back of our mind that the original rule is that of permissibility, but the permissibility may be taken away depending on how and what cryptos are used for. And this is what will take me into discussing briefly the rule of Shaddu Daria, blocking the means. Majority of fatwas pronouncing trading in cryptos as being haram was based on the rule of Shaddu Daria, that they will use it to perform this. It may cause this to happen. So this is the rule of Shaddu Daria. But again, is a common knowledge in Sharia that we do not block every means. We do not block every means. Means are there as facilities from Almighty Allah. But when do we block a means? It's only when that means will certainly or mainly lead to an illegal end. I will come again on that one. Blocking the means does not mean if you suspect, mere suspicion, you go on and block the means. No, that's not Sharia. Sharia, we have a rule that says there must be quwwatu at-tuhma. The suspicion must be real. The suspicion must be very strong. This currency either certainly or mainly is going to be used for illegal activity. Then we can block the means by pronouncing it originally to be haram, because it will either mainly or certainly lead to an illegal end. Also, one of those rules that we must bear in mind, whoever is in the position of pronouncing on the status of cryptos in Islam, we must bear in mind the rule of maslaha and mafsada is a rule of Sharia. That is, we always weigh, especially when we don't have clear-cut Sharia injunctions. Like in this case, we don't have any ayah or hadith to say crypto is halal or haram. So we resort to other mechanisms. One of those mechanisms is to weigh between the benefits and harms involved, embedded in the activities surrounding crypto markets and crypto trading. We have to look, every country will have to look at the benefits and harms. Then the Sharia says, if you have more benefit, you say it is halal. If you have more harms, you don't hesitate to declare it as being haram. And even when it can be both, it can bring benefit, it may cause harm. Sharia says you give priority to prevention of harm before realization of benefit. So this will be a parameter that anybody that is considering, that is pronouncing on the status of crypto must also take account of. Governments and monetary authorities, this is now a recommendation. Government and monetary authorities are therefore advised to critically look into the pros and cons of cryptocurrencies and thereafter take a decision as to 1, whether to allow it, 2, whether to disallow it. A third option may be to introduce some levels of regulation to crypto-related activities. In Malaysia today, for example, even though they have not pronounced on whether it is halal or haram, but they have a position that, look, if you want to trade in crypto, your platform, your exchange, like a market for trading, must be registered. We must know you. Those of you that are dealing, the platform that we are using must not be anonymous. This is a level of regulation that could be a third option for a country that does not want to disallow. Based on what I've said, Saddu Daria must be considered. Al-Maslaha, Al-Mafsada, weighing between harms and benefit must be considered. Then they take an option. Is it that to disallow? Is it that to allow? Or to allow, but with certain regulations like what they are doing presently in Malaysia. Another recommendation: excessive trading in crypto without creating any real economic activity is not healthy for a nation's economy. I'm directing this particularly to my country, Nigeria. We need to sit down. We need to analyze, why are we coming forth in terms of trading volumes? We do not have an economy that matches that. What is happening? Because for people to now focus on trading in what will not lead to creation of real economic activity is not good for any nation, for economy of any nation for that matter. And for this, I will quote Ibn al-Qayyim once again, that iconic jurist of Islam once again, who says, money is never sought for itself. Rather, it is used as a means to gain commodities. When money begins to be treated as a commodity and becomes the objective of transactions, the entire economic system gets corrupted and will be in crisis. This is coming from I'lam al-Muwakki'in al-Rabb al-Alamin by Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawzi, volume 2, page 105. And finally, I've advised government, I've advised monetary authorities, regulators. Let me also advise individuals, listeners to me at this moment. You must exercise caution if you must trade in cryptos. That's the rule. That's the truth. You must exercise caution. It's a very risky venture. It may plunge you into sudden and devastating level of poverty. Let me say it practically. Losing one single Bitcoin means one Bitcoin. If you lose one Bitcoin, means you are losing 55,000 US dollars today. And in Naira, it means more than 26 million Naira in just the twinkle of an eye. Within the twinkle of an eye, you can just lose 26 million Naira for losing just one Bitcoin. If you lose 2, you know how much it will become. If you lose 3 Bitcoin, so it's a very risky venture that you must exercise caution if you must trade in cryptos. It's a very risky one, and caution must be exercised. And finally, thanks for listening. The next slide, I have something there too that I want all my audience to read. The next one. Slide 25, please. Can you see it? Can you also? I want them to see it. Can you see it all?
Yes, we can see it.
Thanks for listening. And don't forget that your Bitcoin is zakatable anyway. That is, regardless of all what we have said, if you are still in that business, don't forget to pay your zakat. Whether it is an asset, whether it is regarded as an asset, Whether it is regarded as a currency, crypto is zakatable. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make what we have done today beneficial to us all in this life and the next life, and to let Muslims in particular, because I'm talking to an audience of Muslims principally from the Islamic perspective. May Almighty Allah continue to empower and strengthen the Muslim Ummah. Why I've gone this length of analyzing, of taking my time to tell you all the sides, is the fact that crypto market is a very huge market. Capitalization today is $1 trillion. Already, we know Muslims are being, the war against Muslims is being fought in many cases using economic weapon against us. If we can derive a benefit from crypto world, we must not close our eyes. That is my intention. But that should not be a license for us to be careless, to be reckless, not looking at what is halal and what is haram because we want to derive a benefit from the crypto market. But it's a market that's very huge that we cannot just simply close our eyes and pretend as if we do not know that there is a lot of money out there and people are gaining millions of naira almost every day. But at the same time, as Muslims, we must know that anything that we do must be in line with the dictates of Sharia. May Allah make all that one easy for us. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
Naam, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank the professor for that beautiful presentation, and we hope he has dealt with the topic academically. And my fear is that the presentation is not presented in such a way that we can say yes or no, but it has dealt with topic in such a way that he has examined the technological involvement in the technology of a cryptocurrency itself. And not only that, he began with definitions of terms and terminologies for us to know exactly what it is, and also referred to historical emergence of a cryptocurrency. And again, he was like trying to let us understand that the technology itself is not haram or is not bad in itself, but the question is, what are the means, or what you want to use the technology to achieve? What do you want to trade, and what is the source of the money or the resources you want to use to trade? And that is when he was trying to look into the intrinsic definition, volatility definition, economic linkage of cryptocurrency, and illicit activities have been referenced by some scholars in the face of Sharia, and again the ambiguity and the authority or permission or legal backing of cryptocurrency from different countries, and the trend in the modern world market and technology. And again, he was trying to link us to what the Sharia issue as regards the mining and means of payment of payment by using cryptocurrency in such a way that what is the means with which you want to pay for whatever transaction, and what is the transaction you want to pay for. And he went ahead to discuss the benefit and the harms in the light of what makes it halal and what makes it haram. And he concluded by giving different advisory opinions to government to look into the pros and cons of cryptocurrency, the decision to be made by making it halal, legal or illegal, with reference to the transaction using cryptocurrency, the appropriate regulation and sanitation to be put in place, and also what is the economic base with which we have to look deeply into cryptocurrency, especially the emergent world market advancements and evolvement. So on this, we have to open the floor for concern and question and answer section. And this is going to take us around maybe 30 minutes from the schedule that we're having here.
Sorry,
And
Mr.
again,
Moderator. Sorry,
yeah.
sorry for interruption.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a meeting starting at exactly 1:30.
Okay.
And I must observe my Zohar before that meeting. So I will suggest that we take a maximum of 10 minutes.
Okay.
Or minimum of 5. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we have heard what the Prof recommended. Let us minimize or trying to summarize our questions. And if the lecture can take care of our questions, we promise you to share the recorded version of the lecture, inshallah, Allah permits. So, but let us try to see how to summarize our question. Let us just signify by raising our hand using the icon under our Zoom. You see an icon that says reactions. When you look at the reaction, then you can just click, you can raise your hand, then you can be given a number. So it's like when Prof was talking about the permissibility.
We have several hands raised up now.
Some hands are already in a hop, maybe inadvertently. Maybe all hands have to be down first, so as not to be confused. I have seen some hand hop even before the time for section and answer. So let all hands be down. Allah Itamza, put down your hands. Sanusilafiaji, your hand down, please. Let all your hands down first. Thank you. Thank you. Now you can read. Please, all hands. Okay, now we can raise our hands.
Okay, so the first hand that is up is.
I think we cannot manage these hands. A lot of hands are up. What I have to just do, maybe I have to do. I don't know anybody by name.
Maybe we can type our questions in the chat. Chat
okay,
is enabled.
better.
Yes.
Let us use the
type
chat.
Our questions. Yes.
To type our questions. Maybe some of the questions are the same.
Yes.
So you can easily just merge it together and ask at once. Please let us do that in 2 minutes. Type your question in the chat room. Then from there we can take it up. Like somebody was saying, that is the issue of the cryptocurrencies. Like somebody asking in Nigeria, that is it good for a Muslim to have an hotel? You know, it's a kind of a question that somebody who has never been to another place might look the hotel as a place. Oh, how can a Muslim have an hotel? But you'll be surprised that you come to Saudi Arabia here, you're going to sleep in a hotel all throughout your Umrah. So, but which type of hotel? That is why sometimes the location and where we have could define what the scholar will legislate as regards the permissibility or impermissibility of a particular matter.
So in the chat box, many of the comments are saying that, okay, can we get you can get the recording of this once we complete. If we have any questions, just type it out. I'm seeing a lot of things in the chat. There's no direct.
I think maybe Brother Hussein can manage that.
Yes, there's no direct question yet.
Okay, no technical questions.
No technical question related to Islamic law.
Can I buy cryptocurrency with the intention of selling it in future? Of course, answered.
And that is my
maybe
impression.
Perhaps he has to answer this.
Most of the questions,
maybe the Prof has to
because of the presentation.
Yes, most of the questions are dealt with in the presentation.
Okay.
Okay, except paying zakat on crypto.
Yeah, that was the last statement I made.
That was the last statement. So is the zakat going to also be paid in crypto, or is it going to be paid in other currency?
Yeah, I think he answered that.
That's a good one. Let's begin with that one.
Yes.
If you have your crypto and you want to pay zakat on it, first and foremost, you must know that zakat is payable from the same form of money out of which you are to pay zakat. If it is Bitcoin, it's 2.5% of your Bitcoin holdings. Since cryptocurrencies, alhamdulillah, they are not physical currencies. They are virtual currencies. They can only be translated into its equivalent in another currency. Now, for example, if you hold just just one currency, one Bitcoin. It means you have 55,000 US dollars. It means in Naira, you have more than 26 million Naira. So in your currency, just calculate 2.5 of what you hold and pay zakat with that one. Simple. Not necessarily with Bitcoin.
Okay, a follow-up quickly to that. Someone posted, can we pay zakat on something that is haram?
No, because that requires a long answer, but let me say it in summary. In Sharia, zakah is only payable on what you own. It's only payable on what you own. And illegal money, you don't own it in Sharia. You are only holding it for somebody else. If you don't release it in this world, it will be taken in an alternative way from you on the day of resurrection. So it's in your best interest to get rid of haram money or illegal money at your disposal. But that is what informed the position of jurists on payment of zakat on haram money, because haram money does not belong to you, and you only pay zakat based on what you own.
A follow-up question to that. A number of people have said that they've learned from other lectures that forex trading itself is haram.
I've answered that question.
Yes,
Forex trading as a rule. Yes. I recited the hadith of Ibadah. Simply, there are two rules. If it is the same currency, then there are two rules. It must be exchanged at par, and it must be on the spot. But if you are changing different currencies with one another, then there is one rule to be followed, and that is the rule of on the spot. You can exchange a naira, a dollar to 500 or to 300, a real to 100, based on your agreement, but it must be on the spot. You give the counterpart money, and the counter value is also received instantly.
Follow up to that, sir. Compare that with stock trading.
Well, stock trading means buying and selling of shares.
Yes.
This one also requires a long answer, because when we talk of shares, Sharia will ask you a question: which shares? Shares of which company? So if a company is producing what is illegal, haram, a brewery, for example, you cannot buy the shares of a brewery, and you cannot even trade in shares of a brewery at the capital market. So it all depends on what the shares represent. Shares are mere representations of assets. We will look into that asset that is being represented by your shares, and that will largely determine the status, whether it is halal or haram.
Okay, another question here, sir. I said, can Prof kindly clarify speculative trading and hoarding as it deals with cryptocurrency trading? That the reason maybe they are holding on to the crypto is to sell it later. Is that one allowed?
You see, the rule of hoarding in Sharia, we need to understand this. According to Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, rahimahullah, is the one who narrated that hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ said, "La yahtakiru illa khatu." No one will hoard commodities except someone who is in a plain error. Is in a plain error. Is another way of saying it is sinful to hoard. But what do we mean by hoarding that is prohibited in Sharia? This is where some people are mixing things up. Hoarding is prohibited because of what it leads to in terms of injury, in terms of harm on the society. If a good example, a practical example in the Nigerian context, a filling station that has in stock hundreds or thousands of liters of petroleum product, because he speculates that tomorrow the government will increase or the price will go up, he already has in stock, he doesn't lose anything. He bought at 140, selling at 160 per liter. But because he is speculating that, oh, it's going to be 200, it's going to be 300, and closes the station, claiming that there's nothing in stock. I don't have. That is hoarding that is prohibited, because it is deliberately causing harm and injury to the society. But in another from another perspective, we have something that is in abundance in the society. For example, this is a period of mango or any fruit for that matter. I can decide that, oh, people have them in abundance in the market. So if I don't sell mine, nobody is hurt. Nobody is being harmed. If I choose not to sell mine, that I will wait for some time for the price to appreciate, then I will sell. I'm not causing any harm to the society. That is not the kind of hoarding that is disallowed. Based on this one, you have to look.
They said, can we buy that crypto with the intention of selling in future?
That is what I've said. If your intention of selling in future does not lead to any harm, it's not that people are badly in need of cryptos, then you hold your own that if they don't see, I will tell them my price and they must pay. Like the typical example of a filling station that I told you of. But to be honest, hoarding, buying crypto with the intention of selling tomorrow is not the type of hoarding that is haram in Sharia. Because crypto is not it's not desperately, nobody is desperately in need of crypto to survive. Are you getting me?
We are getting you, sir.
So that is the difference.
A lot of people have asked, can they get the recording, which we can do? Can they get the slides? Can those slides be shared?
Well, I've already sent the slide to one of you, Brother Demola, I think. Yes. Maybe you are only asking for my authority to share.
Yes,
so
sir,
the
your authority to share. Yes.
The permission is given.
Thank you, sir. Let me see any more questions.
Yeah, somebody is saying that is trying to develop Islamic compliant cryptocurrency. Is seeking your opinion to meet you and to discuss some of the things with you personally.
I'm more than ready to do that. Let him have my number from Brother Demola.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, they have said that you are close to CBN. You are doing several things with CBN. Can you give us an insight how they are thinking? What advice? What direction are they going to take in terms of crypto?
Well, my mandate with CBN is limited. I'm advising CBN on non-interest banking or Islamic banking. It's only when crypto comes to be traded by Islamic banks that CBN will seek my advice. But outside that, I cannot talk on behalf of CBN.
Okay, I have a question on insurance. I don't know if it can, which I think can be beneficial to the Ummah.
And that should be the last question, inshallah.
Yes, the question is, because I can see in your profile, you have a link with the Nigeria Insurance.
I'm equally an advisor to the Nigeria Insurance Commission, also on Islamic insurance.
So on insurance, I don't think we Muslims don't have any info on the aspect that will be useful to the Ummah. So I think if you can actually share those information with us here, the opportunities are open for Muslims and how we can actually access it. It would be very, very good.
Okay, thank you very much. Opportunities for Muslims in this regard. One, the federal government of Nigeria has accepted and has accommodated the practice of Islamic insurance in Nigeria. Meaning that as a Muslim, if you had wanted to go into insurance business, but what is actually preventing you from so doing is because you know as a Muslim that conventional insurance is prohibited, then you have a good opportunity of floating your company that will practice Islamic insurance and you get license like any other insurance company. Still in the same vein, we have in Nigeria today about almost 6 companies that have been licensed by the government to practice Islamic insurance. All these companies are in need of human resources. They are in need of brokers. They are in need of advisors. They are in need of managers. So those are opportunities that are bound for Muslims that they can key into if you have the qualification of so doing.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We have actually come to the end of the video. Islamic law perspective about cryptocurrency. May Almighty Allah give us better understanding of it.